Hi, my name is Ludvik, and I am here to talk to you about focusing more in about my thesis topic, which was soft power not working with Pakistan. Soft power has been the current tactic for the United States and for other organizations, global organizations around the world, to help stabilize Pakistan, because Pakistan has been a very unstable country and has been leading to a lot of things, mostly extremist activities, especially from terrorist groups attacking neighboring countries or themselves. And what the United States has been doing has just been throwing aid at Pakistan and just using soft power to try to stabilize Pakistan. But what I'm here and what my paper was about is not, soft power is not going to do what is needed. The United States needs to focus in on hard power and focus in on making sure that the aid that is given to Pakistan is used for one thing, and that would be infrastructure. With that infrastructure, Pakistan would be much more communicating with their surrounding areas, with the rural people, with the people inside the cities, the urban people, and with the neighboring countries as well. And when dealing with an extremist group that preys on the lack of knowledge, communication, fear, those are the big things that they use against their own people to recruit more and to be able to attack. And what the United States needs to do is make sure that Pakistan uses that aid money to excuse me, to make sure communications are much better in Pakistan. So the infrastructure needs to be improved, which has been starting, but not nearly to the amount where Pakistan needs the infrastructure to be built. And with the infrastructure, once that's built, communication and roads, this will all make Pakistan much more connected, much more networked, and that's what the new global future is for everyone, for all the countries all over the world. It's becoming a new global network, and Pakistan has fallen behind just in networking itself. And if the United States were to use that aid that they give, which we're talking millions and millions of dollars each year, if we were to use that money and not just let Pakistan do with it what they will, because that is not working, we need to do what the United States doesn't normally do, and that is to forcefully make sure that Pakistan is using that money to build roads, to build communications, all that. Everything's needed to just ensure that Pakistan's quality of life and that things just get better. If the infrastructure gets built, then everything else will kind of fall into place, and this will stabilize Pakistan. This will be a big push for stabilization of Pakistan, because it will get everyone on the same page. Pakistan is a very diverse, culturally diverse and rich country, but everyone is so not on the same page that it makes things very hard for anything to go through, make any kind of progress. So to unite everyone, where not where everyone's on the same side, but where everyone be able to talk to each other and be able to hear each other out and be able to be exposed to different ideas, things would get much better. Things would be able to get Pakistan in the right direction, especially. And with the communications, it would also help on the front of people being able to fight against terrorism and fight against the Islamic extremists that rule basically Pakistan with fear and lack of knowledge, like I mentioned before. if everyone, especially the rural people that do not have any means of communicating with either neighboring people or with the urban cities, if they can't communicate, they're just by themselves. And if they can use communication to help fight against terrorism, it will make them it'll make them stronger. It'll have less fear in their hearts because they know that it's not right doing what they do. But what do when they're threatened with being murdered? When, you know, these groups come and recruit their, you know, their family. And if we were to increase the communications, that would also be eliminated. We would be able to unite those people that are willing or that want to do the right thing. And with terrorism, it's, you know, it's easily defeated once we get everyone on the same page. And right now Pakistan is not on the same page. So what we can do is how we're going to do this is what I mentioned in my thesis paper would be you know, increasing the aid and also making sure putting standards on how this aid is going to be used. Basically taking Pakistan and guiding it, you know, with a stern hand, you know, because Pakistan was given their chance. Pakistan had their chance to do the right thing, but the officials, the government, it's all unstable. So how can you expect stabilization to happen by just throwing money at it? That's not going to work. The United States, being that it doesn't normally force the hands of other people, needs to do this. It needs to step in, and I'm not saying start a war, but we need to make sure Pakistan does the right thing and starts focusing on key features like infrastructure. And once that happens, progress will happen. And what the United States would do would be, you know, still giving that aid, but then they would also be making sure that Pakistan is building those roads, building communications, doing all that. And Pakistani people may not like it, and they most likely will not like that, but once it's all done and over with, because as of right now the viewpoints for the United States are not very good, and if we just focus in on getting in, building the infrastructure and making sure and it starts to work and get the Pakistani people jump started on communications and the infrastructure, then the ball will start rolling with the rest of the progress, because their economy will start to boost, the rest of their quality of life will increase. You know, people will be able to communicate more, and that will eliminate a lot of the hostility between the diversity of, you know, Pakistan. When you have a bunch of people that do not really know the true facts about each other, but yet they go off lies and miscommunication, that's where we have our hostility, and that's where things can be greatly improved, because these people are great people, and there's a lot to be done, and there's a lot of promise with Pakistan, but if things don't get turned around, then we will, you know, it'll all be for nothing, really. I mean, we need to really make sure that Pakistan gets the chance that they deserve, because they do deserve this, and they're not the bad country that everyone thinks that they are. There's a lot of good things that can come out of Pakistan, but if we don't kind of play the parent role in this and just give them tough love by using hard power and kind of putting aside the soft power for now, then we can actually help Pakistan by giving them the infrastructure they need, and by giving them the chance that they want, you know, and that's why we're there. That's why we're over in the Middle East, to help the people out. So that's my thesis, and thank you.